You said something 3 days ago, maybe in a meeting, maybe in a conversation that felt fine at the moment, and somewhere between then and now your mind decided to go back and examine it, turn it over, wonder how it landed, wonder what they thought, wonder whether you came across the way you intended. The other person has almost certainly forgotten it entirely, but you're still there, still in that room, still running the simulation. This isn't vanity, it isn't weakness, it is one of the most deeply human experiences there is. The need to know how we appear in the minds of other people. We are wired for it. Our entire social existence for most of human history depended on it. Being cast out of the group wasn't embarrassing. It was fatal. The instinct is ancient. The problem is that the world it evolved for no longer exists, and we're still running the software. We are spending enormous amounts of cognitive energy managing the perceptions of people who are mostly thinking about themselves. We are editing our words before we say them, monitoring our faces while we say them, and reviving the tape afterward to see how we did. And none of it, not 1 second of it, gives us any reliable information about what anyone actually thinks. Because we cannot know what anyone thinks. We never could. The Stoics didn't just understand this, they built a complete framework around it, and the framework isn't what most people expect. Epictetus was a slave. Not metaphorically, he was owned. He had no rights, no property, no control over his own movement or labor. By every external measure, he was the least powerful person in any room he entered, and he became one of the most psychologically free. His freedom didn't come from his circumstances changing. It came from a distinction so simple it almost sounds too easy until you actually try to live by it. There are things within our control and there are things that are not. Our judgments, our choices, our responses to what happens, these are ours. Everything else, what people think of us, how we're perceived, whether our words land the way we intended, is not. Not partially ours, not mostly theirs, completely, entirely not ours. Epictetus called this the dichotomy of control, and he was uncompromising about it in a way that most modern interpretations soften into something more comfortable. He didn't say, try not to worry too much about what people think. He said the opinion of other people is simply not your business. Not because it doesn't affect you, because it was never yours to manage in the first place. But here's where it gets more interesting and more challenging. Marcus Aurelius took this further. He was the most powerful man in the world, emperor of Rome, commander of its armies, final word on the lives of millions. If anyone could have been forgiven for caring deeply about his reputation, his image, how history would remember him, it was him. And he wrote, privately, for no audience, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." He wasn't writing that as advice to someone else. He was writing it as a reminder to himself, because even he, with all that power, all of that Stoic training, still felt the pull. That's the part worth sitting with. This isn't a battle you win once and move on. Marcus Aurelius fought it daily from the most powerful position on earth and still had to remind himself. The goal isn't to not care. The goal is to catch yourself caring and choose deliberately what to do with it. And there's a specific practice for that, but first, the thing nobody tells you about why this is actually so hard. The reason just stop caring what people think fails as advice, the reason it has failed every time you've tried to apply it, is that it asks you to suppress an instinct without replacing it with anything. You can't think your way out of the need for approval. You can't decide to stop wanting it. The instinct is physiological. It runs deeper than reasoning. What Stoicism offers isn't suppression, it's redirection. Instead of asking, what do they think of me, a question you cannot answer and cannot control, you ask a different question entirely. Did I act in accordance with my own values? That question you can answer. That question is entirely yours, and the answer to it is the only feedback that contains reliable information about who you actually are. Epictetus put it simply. He said, "Seek not the approval of men, but the approval of your own conscience. Not because other people's opinions don't matter socially or professionally, they do, but because your conscience is the only judge with full information. Everyone else is working from an incomplete picture. They don't know what you were carrying that day. They don't know what it cost you. They don't know what you were trying to do. You do. If today's video is giving you something to work with, I have a free 7-day email series that goes deeper into exactly this kind of practice. One philosopher, one concept, one shift per day. It's called the 7-Day Epic Reset, and the link is in the description. Take a look when you finish here. Here's the practice, and it works best in writing. Tonight, or the next time you notice yourself replaying an interaction, editing a past conversation, wondering how you landed, stop and answer 3 questions. First, did I act in line with what I actually value? Second, if I could go back, would I do something meaningfully different, or am I just imagining a version where everyone responded better? Third, whose standard am I measuring myself against? My own, or one I absorbed from somewhere else? You don't need to answer it at length. One honest sentence each is enough. The act of writing them shifts the question from what do they think, which you can't know, to what do I think, which you can. Most of the time, you'll find the original action was fine. The replay was the problem, not the moment. And occasionally, you'll find something worth genuinely learning from, which is different from the loop. The loop circles without arriving anywhere. This practice lands. There's a version of you that moves through the world without constantly monitoring how you appear in it. Not because you've stopped caring about people, not because you become indifferent to how your actions affect others, but because you've relocated the source of your own assessment. From out there, where you have no access and no control, to in here, where the information is accurate, complete, and entirely yours. The next time you catch yourself in the replay, running the tape of something already finished, editing words already spoken, you have a different option now, not to suppress the instinct, to redirect it. Did I act in accordance with what I value? Answer that honestly, then let the rest go. The 7-Day Epic Reset is in the description, or visit beepic.today/reset. 1 practice per day, 7 days. It's the natural next step from here. And remember, walk the path with intention, not someday, today.